In one word, how would you describe your comedy?
Manic.
Silly.
Feminist, but kind of naughty and fun.
Musical.
Manic.
Shocking.
Eclectic.
Art.
Indecisive.
Concise.
Evolving.
Feel good.
Weird.
Fun.
Surreal.
Hilarious.
Serious. Pissed off.
Self-deprecating.
Brilliant.
Pubescent.
Inane.
Surprising.
Stoner observation.
Oh, it's different.
Wordplay.
Incompetent.
Personal.
Energetic.
Conversational. Cheeky.
Chaos.
Underdog.
Nerdy. Tentative.
How did you feel at your very first gig?
How did I feel at my very first gig? Younger, more hopeful than I do now. I remember having my potential intact. That was a wonderful sensation.
It goes horribly wrong generally, I think mine did. But it was an experience. And you know, you get back up, you get back on it. It's one of those things when you come off stage and you know that it's been pretty rough and all your friends go, "That was great!" And you're like, "Thank you for loving me, but no, it wasn't."
The first gig I ever did was King Gong at the Comedy Store. And it was great. I had Stephen K. Amos as the MC and it was fantastic. But I lasted about 2 minutes and got gonged off and was in tears and ran out of the place. And yeah, it was a mess outside for a while. And Stephen K. Amos, bless him, did actually take me backstage in the Comedy Store, sit me down and was like, "Was that your first show?" I was like, "Yeah, it's my first one I've ever done." He's like, "Why the hell would you pick King Gong to do your first show? It's the most brutal show. People just come to abuse the act and that's your first one." He told me not to give up and to keep going.
My very first gig I did when I was 20 years old. I went to the Comedy Store and I got gonged off quite quickly. And then, so it took me another 20 years to get the courage up to ever do a second gig. But I always wanted to, but it's sort of, you know, I felt that I'd been castrated, you know, metaphorically castrated.
So I went there, I tried to prepare a little bit, and a guy showed me how to pull out the microphone, and he gave me this little trick, just like, just when you have it, wrap the cord quickly around your wrist, so if you move and trample on it, you're not gonna drop the microphone, because it's just gonna tighten against your hand. Okay, you're gonna save it. Fantastic idea. I got it, I'll do it. Second I go on stage, I touch the microphone, my mind goes, "How the fuck do I get this thing off?" I could not remember, so I just stayed the whole bit clenching at the stick, at the holding stick of the microphone, the stand, I guess, stand of the microphone, and just talking very rigid with my left arm that was going up and down, madly gesticulating, because the act was supposed to be kind of lively. And it was terrible as a thing, but it's just like, at the same time, it was just like, yeah, I'm doing this again tomorrow if I can.
My kids there, I had my wife there, I had friends and family there, and just before I walked on stage, and I always remember my wife of this, she kind of said, "Good luck, darling," all that type of thing. She said, "You are funny, aren't you?" I said, like, "No idea." No idea. So, and then but I walked down stage, and it was absolutely superb. Really supportive crowd. I had a good joke in there. I also really enjoyed it, and I just kind of came across as enjoying it. And I didn't realise I enjoyed it so much, and I got the bug. And my second gig was 3 days later to 3 people.
Release our nerves with sort of standard drama practices and whatnot, sort of like breathing exercises and whatnot, but I still felt that wasn't enough for what I needed, because for me it wasn't so much about the jokes as much as it was the anxiety of performing in front of people, which to me was terrifying, and it's just a process. I don't think every comedian will be shit scared in their first gig, and it's just buggering through. No one's going to be confident in the first gig, and I think you need to be anxious on your first gig, and eventually it takes longer for different people, but you will eventually just lose all your inhibitions just through routine and experience.
It was at Lion's Den. I brought 15 friends, so obviously they wanted them to stay as long as possible. So when I finally bound onto stage, it was all a bit of a haze because they had the Super Troopers on me, and I was quite drunk at the time, and I had to sort of support my friends. I came out feeling brilliantly, and then I watched the video and realised I was actually a bit shit.
I did a lot of acting at school, so I felt comfortable kind of being on stage doing other people's lines, but it's a very different thing when it's something that you came up with by yourself in your own bedroom that you thought was funny. And I remember being terrified that only I would think it was funny, but the first one I did, I remember actually went really well. It was in the Lion's Den back when it was near sort of Leicester Square, I think, in the Trocadero, if I got that right. And it went really, really well. So much so that I thought, I'm a fucking master at this. A couple of people came up to me afterwards and said how much they enjoyed it. I thought, I'm the best. And then the next one was really bad. So that was a humbling experience that knocked me down. It's worth a bit.
When we were at university, we had to do a gig in our Freshers' Week. And that was the very first time I'd done stand-up. And it went really well, like really surprisingly well. And our lecturer singled me out for praise, which was great. And then at the very next gig I did, that same lecturer who gave me praise, Doc, I overran by like 2 minutes and he turned the lights and the microphone off. Were you there? He just
was that like exactly a week after the first one? Yeah, I did that lineup as well.
Yeah, that was because I think he immediately went like, oh, I've given him too much confidence, and he slapped me down so aggressively. But my first gig, I was just crazy excited.
I felt kind of nervous, but more excited. And I had like 3 of my friends came to support me. One of them who had pushed me into it and told me that I had to book a gig because I kept talking about how I wanted to do it. And I went somewhere where I'd already been to watch the night already, so I kind of knew how it worked.
Oh, God, I did some dreadful. I put myself through university doing kids theatre and kids magic. I mean, I set light to a dove once at Tricycle Theatre in Kilburn. A rabbit died on stage with me. That was dreadful. We did the big production thing at the end of it. You bring out this rabbit and you realise there is an audience of kids and there's a kid either side of you. And you've got a dead rabbit and you can't tell them it's a dead rabbit. So I grabbed the rabbit by the neck and I'm doing this. Not proud of that. Not proud of that. Anyway, what was the question?
It's only natural to have the sweets. I think if you don't, you're a corpse. You know, I know comics who 10 years in still throw up before every show. They're still nervous before every show. I'm not that extreme, but I definitely have some, you know, there are definitely moments when it'll be thrown off a little bit, or if I still feel it. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice because it takes you back to that. So definitely, I think, you know, it's a weird combination of, I think if it's something you're supposed to be doing, I think you get a different feel than the people who kind of come off stage and go, oh, it was all right. I've seen new comics go for their first time, come off stage and go, okay. And I've seen the ones that turn out to be doing a long time because they come off stage and they have a different look in their eye. They're like, oh, I found what I do. I found what I do. And so that was the feeling that I had. I don't remember really much about it. All I remember was coming off stage going, oh, I'm a comedian. Like that's what I want to be. That's all I want to be. That's it. That's everything. And 15 some odd years later, still feel like that.
We went down to Greenwich and we did a sort of half-hour street show with no bottling speech at the end, and 2 girls who we knew going around with a hat trying to get money, and it was just a disaster. And then the next week I went back and did a show by myself, which again was basically little bits of everyone else's shows to just, you know, to try and do something.
I've done London Comedy Course, I think it was called, with a guy called Harry Denford, and the showcase at the time was at Up the Creek Comedy Club. There's about 100 people there, so it was a really good experience to set me on my way, because after that it gives you a lot of confidence to perform in front of that many people. And I had a good gig, but looking back, I've emceed a lot of showcase nights as well. And I know at the time I didn't realise, but a lot of the showcases, they're super friendly crowd, so you're not really gonna, you'd have to go some to die at a showcase.
My best friend described it, he said it was like childbirth because it was beautiful but disgusting at the same time. And so it was such a traumatic experience to me that I didn't do it again for 10 years. And then I have like lots of first gigs basically.
And they always say the strongest human drive is the drive to belong. And I never belonged. I never had that feeling. But I always was identified as the funny guy. That's how my friends knew me. They'd be like, oh, he's funny. And so I go, well, at least on that's something I can attach my identity to. So the fear for me, you know, your brain starts becoming like this evil voice in your head. So before I stepped on stage, I said, what if this proves that you're not? So it wasn't just, this isn't, oh, I can't be a comic. This was, then what are you? If you're not funny, you're nothing. So it was this intense fear and pressure. So I got really drunk and had a horrible set. But I had 2 good bits. I had 2 good jokes, and that was enough to where people came up to me and they're like, "You need to keep doing this." But I have a tape of that first set. Can't watch it.
I do remember doing my first street show, and it was just an old couple watching me when I was about 14, 15, and like when I first got that coin into my hat, I was really happy. I was like, yes, I'm a street performer officially. I'm doing this for a living. But yeah, it was, I can't find the word. Euphoric, I guess is the best word to describe it. Like, I'm starting to make progress in what I wanted to do.
I am going to click my fingers and you are going to go into a deep trance. I shut now. That's in a minute. I'm going to ask you to go through the cards and find your card. As soon as you do, everyone here is going to go absolutely nuts. Ready? Yeah. Go! Quickly, go through the deck, look for your card. No, let me give you a hand, Wait, is it any of these? Let's find it in a sexy way. Dude, you are giving me some really intense eye contact here. I'm a little bit worried. You okay? Alright, here we go. Right, give him a shuffle. You ready? Yeah, man. You ready for this? Right, come this way a little bit. We want to get you on camera. Alright, here we go. Sexy. Oh, thank you, sir. Alright, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
He's gay.
Yeah!
Is that my card? No.
Oh shit. Oh no. That's not sexy.
Darling, I just folded a card with my tongue. What can your husbands do?
How did you first get into comparing?
Running this night, I run my own night in this place that we're at now, and yeah, running this night I first got into comparing. I think I booked an MC and he didn't turn up, so I kind of had to go on, and it was good, very good. But then the second time I thought I was the best at it in the world, and I've completely ruined the whole night, and it was my own night, and I was like, ah! But yeah, it was definitely through here.
Doing G&B, really. I mean, I'd done some comparing years ago when I worked as a magician, but not sort of like comedy shows. They were more kind of variety things. So really, I sort of like first started MCing when I started G&B.
I've been in comedy circle. I started comedy circle. Yeah, started comedy circle and started comparing my nights. Really enjoyed comparing. That's fun comparing.
Sama, who runs TNT where I compared, asked me. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But then I thought, one thing I don't do with my comedy is any crowd work. And it's quite a useful skill. And the reason why I haven't done it is just because it scared the hell out of me. So the MCing thing was me forcing myself, like, right, do it. And you have to interact with the crowd a bit, and you have to think on your feet. All the best laughs you're going to get from ad-libs. If you try and do any material, it just sticks out and the audience doesn't really laugh at it. But if you say anything slightly funny but it's off the cuff, they love it. So that's why I did the MCing, to sort of develop my ad-libs and my crowd work, and it's totally worked. And after doing a couple of MC gigs, going back and doing a 5 minute, I work with the crowd more than I ever did, and it's given me a little bit more freedom
could have, like I say, a regular gig, and we would invite other acts down and give our regular audience a bit of variety. It would give us an opportunity to kind of like see and be seen and all this sort of thing, and be kind of more aware of the stuff that was out there. And I started emceeing that because it was a logical extension from the, okay guys, we're starting the gig now and everyone can sit down please. Okay, we're going to have a break now. It's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. Would you mind? Go out and have a fag, etc. And it was a logical extension of that. So I think there was never any question that it would end up being me who did it, 'cause it was me who's doing all the admin side of things. So it was a kind of a natural extension from waving a clipboard around was the emceeing my own gig. I mean, I would genuinely recommend that if somebody wants to get more emceeing practice. I mean, the most reliable way of getting more emceeing practice is to be the one who organises the gigs, because, you know, that way you can decide who you're going to be introducing, how you're going to be introducing them. You don't have somebody else breathing down your neck to say, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to mention this, all of that sort of stuff. So, you know, if in doubt, do it yourself, you know.
I don't know why, but I was quite drawn to it. I was quite drawn to the whole idea of just being the person who like moves the show along, so to speak. So yeah, I did that the first time. Then the second opportunity I was given to do it in front of an actual audience was at the show we did, Fistful of Jokes, and I've been interested in it for a while. And I thought, you know, I'll do it for this because I had. It was partly for selfish reasons, just because I'd been working on these kind of musical bits, and like it was a set which, in and of itself, may have been about 15-20 minutes kind of thing, and I felt I'm not going to get a slot that long. It's not that good. So with comparing, you can kind of divide up through the night, and that kind of worked. So which is a bad attitude for a compare to have, by the way. You know, it's not there for you to split up your set, but yeah, that's how I got into it, and then since then I've just continued doing it, and slightly better, I should hope.
Like a friend of mine came to see me do a gig, and I was very new, and he liked me, and he was thinking of starting up a comedy club, and he said, do you want to headline the first week of my new comedy club? And I said, no, I want to MC it every week. And that was the Knockback in Mornington Crescent. It ran for about a year, and I MC'd it every week. And then I ended up running clubs of my own and MCing them, and then I was the MC at Soho Comedy Club, and I've been resident MC at dozens of places since then, and I love it. It is, and I still have my own late night show in Edinburgh, Late with Kate, where I MC it, and some clubs will schedule it so that the MC has like 5 minutes or whatever. But when I do my late show, I schedule it so that I MC long. So there's lots of me chatting, and it's very much, the show is about me chatting, and then there's a couple of guests who come and fit in between, rather than it's a show where I kind of go, ladies and gentlemen, in the following section, the following things will happen. Fire exits are located to the left and the right. It's much more of a come to Kate's party and see what friends she's brought kind of show. Yeah.
I think again at the open mic circuit, which I'm under no illusions is the level that I'm at, I think that it's a great opportunity for lots of people to compare, as long as they don't indulge themselves, because people see the word compare when they get there to say, oh, I can do my 30 minutes of material, and I think that's a dangerous road to go down. I did actually start my own night. I live out in Bedfordshire, and a little small sleepy kind of pub in a place called Leighton Buzzard, or Leighton Buggard, if you work in London and have to travel home late. But don't use that joke. Maybe I shouldn't. No, but anyway, yeah, I like to make myself laugh actually. But no, I think with that one, I actually started my own night, and I got comedians to come out there, and God bless them, they did, and we had a nice crowd, and we used to get about 35, 40 people in the pub. It was very low tech, you know, but it gave me an opportunity to MC, because quite frankly, nobody was going to give me an opportunity to MC, because I was still kind of a fairly, you know, new guy. I also didn't get to gig as much as I wanted to, so you know, the only way to do it was actually to do it yourself. And I found A, I enjoyed it, B, I was getting response from people saying that you're quite good at that. You know, you should kind of do some more of that. And just what I did was, when I turned up to gigs in London, I would always ask and say, look, you know, if there's an opportunity, please consider me, give me a trial out, I'd love to have a go. And God bless a few people that they've given me, you know, opportunities to do that.
My first comparing gig was a friend of mine who wanted, his mum owned a pub, and he wanted me to organise a night and compare it, and offered to pay me like 100 quid to do it, and I'd never done it before. And so I actually did a course. I did Logan Murray's comparing course, and basically I just went up and had no idea and just chatted to the audience. I just watched other people, I'd been to the Comedy Store a few times, seeing how they did it and things like that, and just basically went up and was just like, right, I'm not going to do any material, we should talk to people, we should see what happens. And it went, unfortunately, better than most of my comedy had gone at that point, and I found myself being a better compere than a comedian, which is a weird one.
I've come to a conclusion recently in my life, and that is that I'll probably never be able to successfully do a marathon or a murder. And it's sad because you start off all optimistic, you know what I mean? Like, I'll slit their throat, piss on their face, hide the body, live a happy life. Yeah, but what you immediately forget is that is arguably the worst way to do a marathon. I mean, like, how would I even kill somebody? I don't know, I don't own a gun. Do you own a gun? You might own a gun, but I don't. Big man. I own a gun. Like, I could steal a gun, Like, I could steal the starting pistol. Yeah, but then I'd have to run away from the scene of the crime. Really fast. For 26 miles. With a large crowd chasing. Who were probably all faster than me. Because I only entered a marathon to get a gun. Like I could, you get all these murderers and they kill like their friends or their family or whatever. Like I could never kill my girlfriend. Well, like I'd never kill my girlfriend because then I'd have to report her missing. You know what I mean? Because you can't just not report her missing.